there, fellow Star Wars nerds, and welcome to Unlimited Content, the podcast where two brothers talk about all of Star Wars film and TV in chronological order on the internet as an excuse to hang out more. We are your hosts, Sam and Jack, and this week we're talking about the Clone Wars Season 2, Episodes 12 through 14, The Mandalore Plot, Voyage of Temptation, and The Duchess of Mandalore. Jack Ford, how are
Sam
you?
Ford. I'm good. This is our first. We're back. We made it.
We are back.
Against all odds.
Against all odds.
I like to think that every episode is an against all odds moment.
It really is.
It feels more triumphant that way.
It does.
So, yeah, against all odds, we are back for our first episode of Unlimited Content recorded in 2024.
Gasp.
Here we go.
We're doing it.
We made it.
We made it.
We
That's
did it.
for sure. If we've done anything,
Yeah.
it's that we've made it.
Yes.
That's what I always say.
That's what I always say. You know you've made it when you have a podcast.
And unlimited bills. Jack. How are we going to pay these
That's
unlimited
true.
bills? Because that's how we made it, is
That's
because
a
we
good
have bills.
question.
And there's unlimited. But we have. Not to worry. I hope we have a sponsor. Right?
We
Right?
do have sponsors,
Oh, good.
luckily, this week. We are in the black for at least another
Yeah,
week.
against
We're
all
good.
odds. We have another sponsor.
Against all odds. I almost want to be like, this week's sponsor is sponsored by The Odds.
No, we're against them. All of them.
No. Yeah. All right. But no, this week's episode of Unlimited Content is brought to you by free samples.
Free samples.
You know, when you go to like a Sam's Club
Yeah.
or something, or an HEB, and there's like, sometimes they'll have somebody standing there and be like, here, do you want, a little piece of grilled meat on a toothpick or something? And it's like,
That's all I want.
delicious.
That's perfect.
Or like when you're at an ice cream parlor and you spend 20 minutes standing there trying free samples of all the different flavors on the tiny spoon.
You get the world's smallest spoons. And just
Yes.
it's great.
Yes. I always prefer it when they have plastic ones because I don't know what it is, but like I don't like the texture of wood in my mouth.
Yeah, no. Nope. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not fun.
I get marching band
But,
flashbacks. I don't like it.
Yeah. This is... You get marching band flashback. Yeah. Have you ever tried eating ice cream off of a reed before?
No! Jack and I
Yeah.
are both woodwind players. That's the joke. It's the wooden reeds. Ugh, gross.
Yes. I played alto saxophone and briefly soprano saxophone. And
You did. I forgot about that.
yes, I for like a semester, like the last semester that I was in band, I
Yeah.
played soprano. It was fun. It was good. It was cool.
Nice.
And then Sam played various clarinet things.
And saxophone. I played clarinet,
All right. Yeah.
tenor saxophone, then bass clarinet, and the contrabass clarinet. He was taller than
Which
I
is-
was. It was great. I loved it. It was so much
Yes.
fun.
It was comically large,
Yep.
and I loved it.
The tuba of the woodwinds.
Yeah.
It was great. I had so much fun.
Heckin' chonker of the woodwinds.
I had to sit on a stool to play it. And I was like dead center, and I was like eye level with the band director while we were like in the orchestra pit. It was fun.
Amazing.
It was great.
It's incredible. Well, a bunch of stuff's happened since the last time we talked. It's since the last time we recorded, Christmas has happened, New Year's has happened, a birthday has happened.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's been a whole thing. Sam, what has your last few weeks been like? What have your holidays been?
Holidays were good. They were nice and low key, which is just what we wanted. We had cozy holidays. That's really what it was. It was cozy holidays. During the New Year, just me and Sarah, which was nice.
Nice.
It was quiet. It was the first time I've had like a quiet New Year's in a long time, and 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm too old for this loud New Year's stuff. Just give me the quiets. Give me those. That's what I want.
You were the shh.
Yep, that's what I want. And then roughly 5 days after that was Marion's birthday. My daughter,
Oh,
she is 3 years old now, and she's
she's
very proud of it. She had a Minnie Mouse themed birthday. So lots of pink and polka dots. Sarah made a very delicious strawberry cake with pink frosting, and had like a Minnie Mouse bow on top. And Marion got a bunch of pink balloons, some of them Minnie Mouse shaped, one of them shaped like a giant number 3 that's almost bigger than she is.
Excellent.
It was great. It was great. It was a lot of fun. So that's that. That was my holidays.
That's cool.
Was that? What about you, Jack Ward?
Yeah, it was. I also had good holidays. Went up to Dallas for Christmas Day and like the day before, and then I flew back down to Austin rather, like the evening of Christmas because I had work at 2 a.m. on the 26th, so I needed to be back in Austin.
Oh gosh, they got you working the 2 a.m. shift now?
No, not usually. That was every once in a while, we have to like rearrange things if we don't have enough people to cover whatever shift or somebody's taking off. Sometimes what we'll do is called a split shift, where because there's the morning shift and there's the night side shift, and so like the morning shift is like 2 a.m. to noon ish because the first broadcast is at like 4:30 a.m.
Oh yeah.
And then the evening shift which is my normal shift, is 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. But sometimes when we've got like, somebody's out for a day or something, or, we just need somebody to cover whatever, and we don't have enough people, we'll do a split shift for somebody, which means you work 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., then go home, and then come back and work 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that you've got somebody for at least part of both shifts.
That's awful. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's not great, but like I don't have to do it very often, which is good. And also I live like 3 minutes from work, so it's pretty easy for me to pull off.
Yeah.
That's I've got it about as good as you can in that situation.
Yeah.
Spent Christmas with family, which was nice. The day before that, I think 2 days before, like on the Saturday, which day? Because Christmas was a Monday, right?
Yes.
So on Saturday, I think is when I showed up. I took the train. I took Amtrak, which was nice. It was cool. It was a cool experience to get to take a train somewhere. It obviously took longer than flying, obviously, but also then probably driving. I mean, it depends on the traffic. I didn't look into what the traffic was that day, but
right.
But I did. So like, I needed somebody to drive me to the station, and so I like asked my friends, "Hey, would anybody be able to drive me to the station on Saturday morning?"
Yeah.
And my friend Danny, who lives up in Frisco, is like, "Yeah, I'm headed up. If you want, you can just ride with me, and we'll go up." And I was like, I already bought the train ticket, but I appreciate it. So he dropped me off at the train station and then drove to Frisco while I took the train, and he arrived like 2 hours before I did. Although to be fair, Danny's a fast driver. He's a
fast boy.
He's a car guy.
Gotta go fast.
Yes, he's a fast boy. But yeah, so yeah, we got to visit family, got to see a bunch of the extended family on our mom's side. There was a nice big family gathering. We had chili with the family, and then we went to an old movie theater in Grapevine, the Palace Theater, which is like a single screen from the 60s theater, that's like been kind of newly restored several years ago, and they do classic film screenings. When we watched White Christmas, which was great. Excellent movie. And yeah, and then just, I was there for Christmas morning, which was nice. And and then New Year's, I spent some time with friends here in Austin, just at somebody's house, and that was fun. Had a bunch of friends together, so that was good.
Sweet.
I did not have a daughter with a birthday, so that's not relevant to me.
Next time.
Next time. I'm curious. How are you? So Marion is so close to Christmas. How are you handling presents?
Oh gosh,
how
are we handling? I don't know. You love, yeah.
I feel like she's probably young enough to like not know that like, oh, you're supposed to get presents on your birthday and on Christmas or whatever, and it's like
this was the first year that she like kind of figured that out. Because like yeah,
gotcha.
Presents have meaning now.
She's getting wise to it.
Yeah. It was funny. She knows what the word presents mean, but she doesn't know what the word like being present. Doesn't know what that means. So earlier today, I was got home from work. I was tired, sitting on the couch, scrolling on my phone, and Sarah fairly like shouted across the house, like, "Hey, Sam, can you put your phone down and be present to your daughter?" And Marion runs over and goes, "Presents?" I'm like, no. I have
different.
I have crackers for you. Here, eat these crackers. Please, eat something.
Present.
Yeah.
Cracker present.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Yeah. So she knows what presents are. And she knows what her birthday is now. Or at least, like, it's a day all about her and that we get to tell her that she's 3 years old, and she's figured out. She's slowly getting the muscle memory down and holding up 3 fingers. Yeah, excellent. So she's working on that. Very proud of herself. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how we keep the presents apart because it's all kind of like because her birthday is
like 12 days apart or something, right?
Yeah, 11. She's on the 11th day of Christmas. It's her birthday because the 12th day of Christmas is Epiphany, which was yesterday.
The 6th. Yeah.
So, yeah. So
Gosh,
if you have ideas on how to like keep those apart, I don't know, because her birthday is less than 2 weeks after Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, just budget a lot for that season, I guess.
Yeah. We started like buying and hiding presents like over the summer. We're like, we also thrifted a lot of her presents because like she doesn't really know the difference. Like if the toy's not coming in the box it came in, it's just like, oh, it's an Amazon box. That's what everything comes in is Amazon boxes. So she just opens an Amazon box and there's just a toy sitting in an Amazon box.
It's from Bezos.
It's from Jeff Bezos. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Figure it out.
I used to think it was hard for I used to think mom and dad had a hard time with me because my birthday is exactly 4 weeks before Christmas, and they ain't got nothing on me for this. So yeah, it's all good though.
Yeah, and Max's birthday is almost exactly a month after Christmas.
It is
too. So
it is.
Yeah, we've got like I feel like every month for like half the year we have like a birthday or a holiday. There's like a gift giving occasion.
There is.
It's like, you know, August is mom's birthday, September is dad's, October is mine, November is yours, December is Christmas, January is Marion and Max, February is Gracie. Yeah. So
and actually, Sarah's in July, so like on the front end of that. So.
Oh wow! So we have to start in July now, right?
We do start in July.
So we just have March, April, May, and June that are not like.
we have March and April.
Unless they break a chain.
We have March and April because May and June are Mother's Day and Father's Day. So.
Oh yeah.
It's just March and April are literally the only non-gift giving months for our family.
Oops. Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so what else have you been up to lately, Sam? What's been on your docket, on your mind, on your noggin?
Well, last time we talked about me playing video games and all that stuff, and I figured out that I can hook my Switch controller up to my computer to play Steam games on my computer, which was awesome until I had to do it because I didn't realize that you have to map out the entire controller for every single game. Which
you don't, but I will.
Well, some of them did. I don't know.
Some of them, yes. Yeah, continue.
So, for Battlefront, I had to map out every single control for every single mode of gameplay. So, if I was just a normal normal clone trooper or stormtrooper, that was one thing. If I was a Jedi, that was another thing. If I was flying, if I was in a ship that you drive around on a map in on the on foot battlefield stuff, that's another thing.
Yeah.
And then flying a ship in space battles was another thing. And so that was a couple hours of just trial and error trying to get the right kind of configurations to feel natural and stuff, and that was not fun. So
why didn't you just play Battlefront with mouse and keyboard?
Well, because I just wanted to do it with a controller because I could.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
I prefer controllers for pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah.
Steam has a really good built-in button mapping system into Steam. Where there are community uploaded maps for controllers for different games for different controllers.
Ooh.
So you can so if you open Battlefront 2 and then open the Steam settings and you can there's a controller mapping thing, and then you can browse community layouts and just take one that somebody else has already mapped for you and do it that way. So the more you know. Yeah, it's that's one of the definitely one of the better features that Steam has introduced in the past several years.
Nice.
Yeah,
I will.
It's very useful for the Steam Deck because there's when you're trying to play a game that's like designed for mouse and keyboard, people will like, map, like the mouse to the joystick and whatever.
Yeah.
Lay things out in a way that's like logical, and it's nice to have other people do the work for you. So
yes, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
I just like started doing it and got mad when it took too long, and then went to play it, and then like went to play a different game, or just like turned off my computer, like I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. It's not fun. I don't know. I want to just be able to like pick up a game and play. I don't want to like have to put in more effort than it takes to play the game, to get the game going.
Yeah.
So I was like,
PC gaming's gotten better at that in recent years. Partly due to like the stuff I described with Steam,
right.
But like, it's PC gaming is always going to be a little bit more cumbersome than console.
Yeah.
Which is
makes sense. I'm just new to PC gaming, so
sure. Yeah. Speaking of which, you have access to my library.
I
now,
do.
Right?
Yeah.
My 400 plus Steam games.
Awesome.
I gave Sam access to them.
I went from having 4 games to over 400 games. It was great.
There you go.
Yes.
Have you played any other than? I know you played Sonic Adventure 2, right?
I've looked around and I have a couple that are like on my radar to play, but every time I've like wanted to play, you've been playing already, so I can't. But
yeah, that's the one thing.
Yeah, I was like, all right, whatever.
Steam library sharing is like only one person can be playing from a library at a time, and if Sam is playing something on my account and then I decide to play something, it'll kick him off. So like, yeah,
lame. This is what it is. Anyway, it was fun. It was good.
Yeah,
right.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've been doing that. Good to know. I'm going to look into mapping my controller with the whole Steamy thing. Yes. Other than that, I've been getting back into reading. We're going to talk about New Year's resolutions here in a little bit, but a part of my resolution is reading at least 15 pages a day, or 15 minutes of an audiobook a day, at least.
Oh, nice.
So about a year and a half ago, I listened to The Hobbit, narrated by Andy Serkis.
Excellent,
and it was incredible. And I found out a couple weeks ago, it's probably been out for longer than that, but I found out a couple weeks ago that Andy Serkis did the whole Lord of the Rings trilogy. And so I'm like about 30% of the way through the Fellowship right now, since January 1st. So
excellent.
It's good. It's good. I'm loving it.
That's cool.
He's so good. And like, sometimes you forget that it's just one person reading, because he's so good at just jumping between different
Andy
voices.
Serkis is amazing.
It's nuts. Yeah. He's so good. So, and like his voices sound like the versions of the characters from the movies. Like, because he does a really good Frodo. Like, so he sounds like Elijah Wood's Frodo. He sounds like Merry and Pippin. His Samwise is like, you can tell it's Andy Serkis, but like, whatever. But
Mr. Frodo.
But then his Gandalf is perfect. Like, he just sounds exactly.
I can totally.
He sounds exactly like Gandalf. So he's good. I love it.
Excellent.
Yeah,
cool. That's rad. Yeah, that. Maybe I will. Like, the Lord of the Rings books have been like. I tried reading Fellowship forever ago, and just like, I don't know, couldn't get into it. Not because I didn't like the story of the world, but just like, I don't know, it's a little slow going and a little dense, and I'm just also not like I don't have the reading muscles built up as much as I like. When I was a kid, I read all the time, and then the older I got and the more I had to read books for school, like out of obligation, it like kind of sucked the joy out of it a little bit. And there was also like, I was talking about this with my friends fairly recently about like, do you remember the accelerated reader program at school? Yeah. So like, this was like a program where essentially, it was to encourage you to read more and to read books that are like kind of matching your reading comprehension level, so that you can like challenge yourself, basically. Which is a fine idea in theory, but in practice, the way that it worked was like, you had to like, if you were like reading you had to like earn a certain number of points by reading books, and books had different values based on how long they were and how like their difficulty level or whatever.
Yeah.
And the frustrating part for me was like, I think my reading comprehension level was like higher than most of the other people in my grade.
Yeah, mine
and so
too.
So I wasn't like able to read any of the books that other people were reading, and I had to read like whatever the hardest books in the library were, which inevitably were all like the like heady, dense, boring, or like adult oriented books.
Yeah.
I was like, and so I just like didn't like read much because I was like not allowed to check out, because like the way that they, at least the way they did when I was there, is like you had to check out, like you could like read books that were below your reading level, but not until you had already read a book that was your reading level, basically.
Yeah.
And so like it ended up like kind of ruining reading for me, which is a bummer.
Yeah. I know. What ruined reading for me was English class in high school, which was kind of like the next step of what you were talking about, like being obligated to read a bunch of books for school. That's what killed reading for me. But because like in middle school, when we did like the accelerated reader stuff, because I was also like the same reading level as you, like kind of like the higher end, and but I discovered Michael Crichton in like 7th grade, and
excellent.
And so I got that's when I got into like starting reading sci-fi and like reading like I read like the first couple books in the Jurassic Park series and read a couple other Michael Crichton books, and then similar books from like similar like authors and stuff. And I think some of the Harry Potter books were also in that kind of like on the lower end of our accepted reading level stuff, and so I read
some of the later ones. Yeah,
like the first one wasn't, but it was like
Phoenix onwards.
Yeah, like all the bigger ones were.
Like
So stuff like that. I would kind of do that. But yeah, no, that reading, that like accelerated reader stuff. Yeah, it like it was cool. Like I kind of felt like it was like kind of a bragging right kind of thing. Like who had like a higher. I don't know. There was definitely a social hierarchy associated with like if you had like a good enough reading level.
It's really like I don't remember if I mentioned this on the podcast before, but I know I've mentioned this particular video essayist, Zoe B. Mm-hmm. She's she's a former teacher and educator who now makes video essays, and most of her video essays are about education. Yeah. And she made a video essay called "Grading is a Scam and Motivation is a Myth," and it's a really good video essay. I definitely recommend it. And basically, she goes through like all the reasons why the way that we run schools, according to like a grading system, is like counterproductive to learning and to like grades don't actually motivate people. Like people are more motivated to do things when there's an intrinsic, when they know that there's an intrinsic value to it, rather than if there's an extrinsic reward or a punishment or something associated with it. And she talks about all the different ways in which kind of grades are like bad, basically, and one of them being that like it sets up sort of a social hierarchy, like you said, of like, if you, it becomes kind of a competition in a sense of like, who's the smartest or whatever, even though that's, having good grades is not a measure of intelligence. It's a measure of how good you are at memorizing information and taking tests. It's
absolutely. Yeah. So. Like some of the smartest people I know were terrible in school, and some of the people I know who are best in school are some of the dumbest idiots I've ever met in my life. Like, yeah, you got straight A's, but like you don't know how to use any of this knowledge. You're just really good at taking tests. Like you're an idiot, Like I'm not gonna name names, obviously, but like,
no, name all the names. Sam.
Okay,
tell me.
It's you. I'm kidding.
Oh
no. Yeah, I don't know. It's grading is dumb. Like I don't know. Yeah, especially like for middle and high school, like it doesn't matter. Like I can see it for like I don't know, like STEM stuff in college. You need to know things, and like you need like they're definitely like, doctors need to know what doctor things are, and like engineers should know how to build stuff. But like I don't know, grading English class, like.
Yeah,
feels weird.
That's like not the point. Yeah, it's like it's about coming to an understanding of things and learning processes, and not a matter of like, do you know this knowledge or have you reached a like, especially when like in like an English class thing that like so much of the kind of grading aspect of it is ultimately subjective.
Oh yeah,
it's like so yeah, definitely agree with that sentiment. Yeah. So anyway, grades not great.
But audiobooks for people like you and I who don't like sitting down and reading a book, but are really good at listening to podcasts. Audiobooks are the stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was saying, is that like I I attempted to read Lord of the Rings at one point forever ago and just couldn't get into it for various reasons. But I like the idea of this, of like, I mean, I could listen to Andy Serkis talk forever. So like,
and the Fellowship is 22 hours long. So you got, yeah.
I'll once I finish Baldur's Gate 3 in 8 years or whatever, I'll start another game that I can like play while listening to a podcast or something in the background, and I'll listen to Lord of the Rings.
I mean, I started playing Tears of the Kingdom again just because I'm listening to an audiobook. So,
excellent.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm just doing a second full playthrough of the game while doing the audiobooky things. It's fun.
Cool.
But yeah, that's the only like big exciting things going on in my life, other than like we might get a blizzard tomorrow in Kansas City.
Ew.
Yeah. So
scary.
It's scary. Yeah. I have Marion has a doctor's appointment tomorrow at like 4:15, but the blizzard's supposed to hit at like 2. So I hope we can still take it to the doctor, but I also don't want to wipe out. So yeah, we don't need to lose a car or people.
You don't want to wipe out on your way to the doctor and then really need to go to the doctor.
It's just a checkup. It's just a 3-year-old checkup. Oh man, getting big.
Oh,
it's a big girl.
3. Yes.
Okay, but that's all the things going on in my life. Checkboard. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What am I what are you
What is this? What are you doing?
I don't know, not a whole lot going on right now for me. I just kind of like, living, enjoying the beginning of the new year. Let's see. I don't think I mentioned this in the podcast yet, but one of the things I've been kind of like my most recent sort of creative project was I wanted to have a new website for myself. Like as a way of, because I wanted to start, one of the things I wanted to do is start like writing blog posts again, because I used to do that a bunch like in college and then kind of fell off of it and got like, for various reasons, like being self-conscious about like my writing, and I was also just kind of going through a lot of things and didn't really have a way of, I've been writing a lot, but like in like a personal journal, basically. Cool. And that's been kind of my way of processing things. And now I feel like I've reached a point where like I have a lot of things I feel like I want to say, and I've gotten to the point where I can articulate them well enough to like put them into the world. But I wanted to like have it in, I wanted like a nicer website where I could like have everything in one place, and then like putting it on another platform, just having it like, this is the home for all of my things.
Yeah.
And so I spent like the better part of a month building a website, and I think it turned out pretty well. And I'm working on a big old blog post right now that I've been like kind of writing. I've been attempting to write for like a year now. About like basically about my journey and experience with weight loss and health and kind of all that. So that's my goal is to, I want to see if one of my resolutions for this year, I guess, is that I want to try and publish like one blog post every 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
Basically, to just, get some more experience writing and put some things out in the world, and just again kind of exercise my creative muscles and get more writing practice and say some things that I want to say. And so I'm working on that right now. And beyond that, not a whole lot going on. Still making my way through Baldur's Gate. I'm like 90 hours in, and I just reached Act 3 of the game.
How many acts are there?
3.
Oh, okay.
3. So this is like the final section of the game, as far as I understand.
Still, that's like more than 2 full weeks. That's like more than a paycheck's worth of like hours.
It is, yeah. Man, if I could get paid to play Baldur's Gate,
gosh,
amazing.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so good.
Yeah. But not a whole lot like exciting going on at the moment, other than just like getting ready for the new year, thinking about resolutions, and I as much as I think now's a good time to talk about resolutions.
Yeah.
Probably, right? I think that for me, like at least the past couple years, I've tried my best to like set like goals and like aspirations rather than specific like resolutions where like if I mess up then I failed kind of thing, because like I feel like it's really easy to be like, I want to do this thing once a month or once a week. I want to do this thing, and if I mess up once and I break the streak, I'm like, oh, I failed my resolution for the year. But that's like that's the attitude that I kind of had again, my perfectionist attitude growing up, but like as I've gotten older, I've been able to be like, let's let's think about this in terms of like, this is something that I'm trying to do so that I can like, be better, and not so that I can be perfect.
Right.
So, but yeah, so, so that's the kind of the way that I think about resolutions. So this year, let me pull up my list of things that I want to do this year. I've got a bunch. I've kind of got like a list of a bunch of different things that are like, some of them are carryovers from last year that I like either didn't do or just want to continue doing. Like, I had this idea to want to watch one new movie a week.
Ooh.
I think that would be cool. But like, again, like if I don't watch a movie for a week, it's not like I have to watch 2 movies next week. It's just, if I miss that week, it's fine. Just start over next week. Yeah, basically,
I like
is
that.
the way that I look at it. Because I want to like get back into watching movies more regularly. There are so many things on my watch list, and I don't know, over the past, I think I've mentioned before maybe that like I have more trouble watching movies these days than I used to because of my anxiety, basically. Like, I know that I am like very easily kind of like emotionally like affected by stories and things, and if I like, if I sit down and watch a movie that is like is I don't know, depressing or anxiety inducing or something, that really, really affects me. And so I've like, spent the last few years, like as I've been dealing with anxiety, like trying to basically like I've taken a step back from like watching movies as much. And I want to kind of get back into that and like, learn how to be able to separate that from like my real world existence, and just to be able to enjoy movies again.
Yeah.
And yeah, so because I love movies, and I just haven't, been spending much time watching movies the past couple of years. So I want to get back into that. My blog, I want to post like 2 blog posts a month. I want to read one new book a month. That's another thing that I tried doing last year and immediately fell off of, but I'm doing it again this year, so I can try and do it. And I'm already kind of got it laid out for like a bunch of the books that I want to read throughout the year and which month. And I decided the way that I want to do it is I'm going to alternate between fiction and nonfiction each month.
Okay.
So first month I'll do a fiction, and the next month I'll do a nonfiction, and then back and forth throughout the year. And I've got a bunch of like, I've got probably 9 of the 12 months already kind of like laid out of like which books I want to read.
Sweet. What are you reading this month?
So this month I'm starting easy. I'm reading a graphic novel that's been on my shelf for a while called Squire.
Okay.
It's a honestly, I bought it so long ago that I don't really remember exactly what it is, but it's like a fantasy graphic novel with a beautiful art style, and it's like, Sam's googling it.
I am.
You can describe what it is.
Let's see.
Squire.
It's $3.14 used on abebooks.com.
Whoa.
I know. All right. Let's see. All right, we're opening up to Goodreads. All right. This is the summary from Goodreads, or like the little thing. So, Aza has always dreamt of becoming a knight. It's the highest military honor in the once great Bay Saji Empire. And as a member of the subjugated Ornu people, knighthood is her only path to full citizenship. Ravaged by famine and mounting tensions, Beit Saji finds itself on the brink of war once again, so Aza can finally enlist in the competitive squire training program. It's not how she imagined it, though. Aza must navigate new friendships, rivalries, and rigorous training under the unyielding General Hendy, all while hiding her Ornu background. As pressure mounts, Aza realizes that the greater good that Beit Saji's military promises might not include her, and that the recruits might be in greater danger than she ever imagined. Aza will have to choose once and for all, loyalty to her heart and heritage, or loyalty to the Empire. That sounds really interesting. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see like the cover or anything?
Yeah,
like
it's really kind of cool. Yeah. Like, the art it's very pretty. Kind of like, I don't know, watercolor is not the right. This is not watercolor. I kind of get like Hayao Miyazaki-ish kind of stuff. It's just very
a little bit.
Seems very picturesque. A lot of like, I don't know, bright colors, very scenic. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I picked it up sometime last year at Half Price Books just because it was so visually striking, and I like looked it up and it got good reviews, and I was like, okay, I'll buy this for $5 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's just been on my shelf and being pretty for this whole time. I'm like, I should really read that. So that's my first one I'm gonna read this month, and then next month I'm gonna read a nonfiction book. The one that I think I'm going to read is called Into the Woods: A 5-Act Journey into Story, which is it's a book about like narrative and stories and kind of story structure. But there's a lot of the like writing books and story books that are kind of prescriptive, and they're like, this is the formula that you have to follow in order to write a good story. Whereas this book seems to be more about like, here's all the different patterns that we find in stories throughout the world, and here's why they work, so that you can understand it and kind of have a more comprehensive view, as opposed to like, here's a template to follow, which that sounds cool. So, but yeah,
nice.
So that's what I've got in terms of books. Another thing that I did somewhat last year that I want to try again this year is I'm gonna go on what I'm calling a field trip per month. So basically, I just want to go somewhere and do something like interesting and unique, whether that's like going to a museum or going on like a weekend trip to a town nearby, or
like Kansas City.
Honestly, I was thinking that like
really
maybe I could have Kansas City be one of my like, I'll just like take a weekend or something and visit you guys. Yeah, so
yes,
that'd be cool.
So
yeah, I'll yeah. I don't have any like concrete plans or anything yet this year. But yeah, I would like to do that. And there's a bunch of places that I would like to visit. There's places that I've wanted to visit. Like I want to go to Washington DC at some point. I don't know if that'll happen this year, but I want to go to DC and I want to see museums and historical sites and things.
Yep.
And, I want to visit some of my friends in Denver.
Nice.
I would like to go to a gaming convention at some point, because I haven't been to one since like the year before I went to college, like the summer before college, basically. Yeah. But yeah, that's yeah. And then those are kind of the big ones. And then I also have just some like I have a general goal that I had last year that I also definitely didn't meet, of trying to finish more games before starting or buying new video games. Like, because the way that some people hoard books, which is also a thing that I do, I tend to be like, ooh, this game's on sale, grab that, or like, I'll start a game and then kind of get like distracted or bored of it and start another one. And I want to get better at like, I don't want to play things that I don't enjoy. Like if but if I start something, I'm like, I want to put in a decent effort to actually finish it before like jumping onto something else.
For sure.
Or, and then I want to work on some like game development stuff this year. So that's and I've got some plans in that realm, but it's too early for me to say anything because I don't want to jinx myself.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's what I've been thinking about going into 24, and that's the year.
That is the year. Yeah. Speaking of conventions, I know it's not technically a video game convention, but there is Kansas City Comic-Con is one of the bigger ones in the Midwest, and I think Ian McDermott might be coming to Kansas City Comic-Con because on my way into work today, I passed a billboard for Kansas City Comic-Con. It's just a giant. It's just Palpatine's face on a billboard, and it took me by surprise because it was
a surprise to be sure, but a
welcome one. Oh, welcome. I don't.
I think Ian McDermott is a welcome surprise.
Sure. Yeah, I'm trying to remember because there was it was Palpatine and somebody else. Hold on, let me see if I can find.
It was Palpatine and Sailor Moon.
Not quite that disparate, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know because yeah, we'll never know. But yeah, it was very. I'll report back and I'll let you know. It was just very jarring to see like Palpatine just like staring at me while driving into work. I was like, oh, hi, hello, how are you? Good to see you.
He wants his residuals for all the time we've used his voice on our podcast.
He must. Yeah, that's the only reasonable explanation.
Yeah.
Yep. Paul Bettany's going to be there. That's fun. Hold on.
Fun.
Who's going to... This looks... Are we legit? What's going on?
Are we legit?
So Ian McDermott is going to be at Kansas City Comic-Con.
Cool.
Let's see. See complete guest list. Who's going to be there? Greg Baldwin is going to be there. Who's in Avatar: The Last Airbender, Samurai Jack, and the Clone Wars.
Who's he?
He was... Oh, we just did the episode with this guy. It was the elderly Jedi that Ahsoka went on Lightsaber Lost with.
Oh. Yeah, Mr. Socks on his head guy.
Yeah. Yeah, so him.
Cool.
Zuko is going to be there. Prince Zuko. John Bernthal. No way. That's cool.
The Punisher himself.
Yeah, Paul Bettany.
So Greg Baldwin voices... He voiced Uncle Iroh after the original guy passed away, I believe.
Other names that I recognize.
He was Frank Fontaine in BioShock.
Ooh,
that's cool.
So fun.
Anyway. But yeah, Kansas City Comic Con.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
this episode
very...
is sponsored by Kansas City Comic Con.
Apparently. The voice of Courage the Cowardly Dog is going to be there.
Huh.
That's fun. Danny Phantom himself will be there.
Yo, Danny Phantom. He was just 14.
Well, his parents built a very strange machine. Matthew Lillard, he's going to be there.
Matthew Lillard.
Yes.
Shaggy.
Ron Perlman, he's going to be there.
Ron Perlman, legend.
Love Ron Perlman. We can cut all this out if you want to. This is a lot of me just like scrolling through a website and looking at fun, exciting things. Yeah, no, that's kind of it. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that's all the exciting ones. There were other exciting ones, but that's all the ones I wanted to read. Cool beans. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm the worst.
Okay.
I just geeked out. I saw Ian McDermott.
Let it be known that Sam's the worst.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, I saw Ian McDermott on a billboard today and was just curious and decided to use your time listening to my podcast for me to do this research rather than doing it beforehand. Because here...
And hey, you don't have to listen to this podcast, listener.
Yeah.
This is our excuse to hang out more.
Yeah.
You're just along for the ride.
That's literally all this is here for. Yeah, so that's fun. But anyway, that is that. My New Year's resolution. That's what we were talking about next. So, Sarah and I are doing something together. We're doing like a 75-day health challenge. I think it's technically the soft 75, if you're familiar with like those challenges. Because there's like, the original one was like 75 hard, which is like kind of like an intense kind of thing. And this is
It's hard.
This is the more low-key one. So, I got like a whole checklist of things that I gotta do. I got 6 things I gotta do every day. I have to meet my daily hydration goal. I have like a hydration app that tells me how much water I'm supposed to drink every day. So I gotta do that.
Cool.
I have to eat well. So I'm just trying to like cut out snacks and carbs. Just kind of my eating well. 45 minutes of some form of physical activity every day.
Cool.
Which we're doing during the week. I'm doing like more like Apple Fitness workouts. So kind of like following a workout on the TV. I'm doing that kind of thing. They're intense. But during like the weekends and stuff, we'll just like go on a long walk and call that good.
Nice.
Read 15 pages for fun, or like listen to at least 15 minutes of an audiobook. Only have 2 alcoholic beverages per week, and only in social occasions. And then take a progress picture every day. Cool. So that's
rad.
That's what we're doing for the first 75 days of the year.
Exciting.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up like right before Easter. That's kind of when it wraps up.
Fun.
Yeah. And that's my New Year's resolution. I heard something interesting about New Year's resolutions that makes sense in my brain. That I wanted to. So like apparently, the reason New Year's resolutions are so difficult to keep is because we start at like the worst time in the year to like do new good things. Because like apparently people used to say that the year started like in the spring, like when new life is happening, and like
which makes sense.
Which makes a lot more sense. But instead, we start in the dead of winter when everyone's already on survival mode. Everyone's like, "Hey, I know you're on survival mode. How about like try and like do things to make yourself better?" And then
we also just came out of the holidays too.
Yeah, and inevitably you're gonna crash and burn, and you're gonna feel terrible about yourself. So there's that. So if you're listening to this and you're like already like face planting with your New Year's resolutions, just know that you are set up to fail in this, and it's not your fault.
Yes,
this is.
Just know that there are systemic issues at play.
There truly are. The new year should probably start in March. So here we are. Yep. But alas and alack, here we are. So if you're not doing great now, start on the first day of spring and see how you do. You'll probably do better. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Star Wars, huh?
Star Wars? What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Should we do a Star War?
Let's do a Star War.
Okay.
Let's talk about man, this is a good arc to start the year with.
This is I forgot how good this arc is. Yes. And there's so many things.
It's very good, and it introduces us to a lot of like exciting things that, end up coming back later.
Yeah.
It's a major moment.
Yeah, we are the ramifications that were put into place in this arc, we are still like dealing with in current new Star Wars stuff. Yeah.
Like the Mandalorian and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
This,
yeah, and like plot.
This.
Yeah, like Mandalorian, like Ahsoka dealt with some of this stuff too. Like it was just a lot. So like Sabine Wren and House Wren, which we haven't met yet, but we'll meet, I guess, in a year or so. But whatever. Yeah, no, it's all fine and dandy and fun.
Yeah, this is the first time in canon that we're seeing Mandalore. It's we're meeting Satine, Obi-Wan's paramour from a past life. We get to see the Darksaber for the first time. This is the first appearance of Jon Favreau in the Star Wars universe, who later went on to make the Mandalorian. So, it's a big deal. It's a big dang deal.
It is a big dang deal.
Are you ready to talk about this week's episodes, Sam?
I am so ready to talk about this.
Yeah. So this week, we're talking about the Clone Wars Season 2 episodes 12 through 14, The Mandalore Plot, Voyage of Temptation, and Duchess of Mandalore. Sam, when do these episodes take place in the Star Wars timeline?
These episodes take place in 21 BBY.
Wow!
All right. So the first episode is called The Mandalore Plot. And the moral of this episode is, if you ignore the past, you jeopardize your future.
Wow! Cool.
Events. Diplomacy or deception? The Council of Neutral Systems speaks for over 1,500 worlds who want to stay out of the war. But rumors have reached the Republic Senate suggesting that the Council's new leader, Duchess Satine of Mandalore, is secretly building her own army to fight for the Separatist cause. Now, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi has been sent to Mandalore to discover the truth behind these claims.
Ooh!
Alright. So,
exciting.
Yep. This is, so good. Okay, so Obi-Wan arrives at Sundari on Mandalore and is escorted via speeder to meet Duchess Satine. He is met by Prime Minister Almec, who claims Mandalore's violence died out with the warriors on Concordia, Mandalore's moon. Satine arrives and engages with Obi-Wan in a brief, flirtatious conversation, mixed with mild aversion, before Obi-Wan shows her a hologram of a figure in Mandalorian armor attacking a Republic cruiser. Satine assures him that she is not behind the attack, and she and Obi-Wan set out for a tour of the city. They travel to a garden, where Sabine tells Obi-Wan of a rogue group of Mandalorians called Death Watch, which is opposed to Satine's peaceful ways. She claims that she has worked to root out the group of criminals and has tracked them to Concordia. Meanwhile...
before we go any further, I want to... No, you're good. I want to talk a little bit about just, Mandalore itself, because this is such a cool,
it's really
I think
cool.
Mandalore as a planet is such a cool... it's unique among Star Wars planets, which is nice, because,
yes.
We get the sand planet, we get the lava planet, we get the water planet, we get the jungle planet.
Yeah.
But this is cool because it's a city, it's a giant city with a really interesting kind of elegant sort of architecture to it. And it's very vertical, much like Coruscant is, but it's a much brighter and more open and airy. But it's also inside of a dome, on a like what is otherwise a pretty desolate planet, which is super interesting. Yeah, it's just it's a really cool concept for a world, and it's visually very striking and unique, and I loved getting to see Mandalore in live action recently, and in the most recent season of The Mandalorian. That was so cool.
It was
to finally see this. Yeah, but yeah, this is I just appreciate Mandalore as a planet.
Yes,
and just all the visual aesthetic of Mandalore is super interesting. I feel like it's probably the most like fully like kind of fleshed out and developed culture in Star Wars, or among them at least, because like I mean there's the iconography of the Mandalorian armor, but there's also like all the different like the ways that they dress is very unique, and it's just it's good. It's very good.
I would say it is the most fleshed out like civilization we see in Star Wars, because everything else seems to be like either we have a couple characters from random civilizations, or there's just like the ruins of an old civilization that just randos are kind of just bopping around in. Like that's kind of most of Star Wars. And so this is the only I think this is the only time we see, other than like Naboo, we see a civilization like in kind of their height.
It's the only time we see a civilization in their height, and also like it's a much more fully fleshed out world in that they have their own internal conflicts and stuff outside of the greater kind of galactic conflict. There's enough going on and enough that's been fleshed out there about their history and their politics and their culture and everything, that you can have a lot of really good stories just in Mandalore without going into the rest of the Star Wars universe, which is, I mean, part of the reason I assume why they made The Mandalorian a TV show, because there's so much to mine from there already,
Oh yeah. All right. Meanwhile, on Concordia, a man in Mandalorian armor is conversing with a hologram of Count Dooku, who has promised to support Death Watch. They plan to rally more citizens to their cause so they can overthrow the Duchess. Back on Mandalore, Satine and Obi-Wan are touring the gardens when there is an explosion. Satine and Obi-Wan rush to rescue the injured and see a hologram showing the crest of Death Watch. Obi-Wan spots a man fleeing the scene and pursues him through the gardens. After a brief struggle, the man jumps off the balcony, preferring to commit suicide rather than be kidnapped and interrogated by the Jedi. However, Satine and Obi-Wan manage to reach the dying man on the lower floor just before the Mandalorian whispers his last words to the Duchess in the dialect of Concordia. Obi-Wan and Satine travel to the moon and are greeted by Governor Pre Vizsla. The Jedi decides to secretly investigate the situation on Concordia and gives Satine an earpiece so they can communicate. He travels by speeder bike to one of the moon's supposedly non-operational mines where, after a small scuffle, he is captured by two armored Mandalorians. He then contacts Satine, who is drinking with Vizsla, pretending Obi-Wan is meditating in his chamber and is going to join them in a few minutes. She excuses herself and sets off on a speeder bike towards the mine, where she shuts down the mining machine, which would have crushed Kenobi. They escape through a turbolift, but are cut off by a group of Death Watch members in armor. The group's leader orders an evacuation of the mines, then reveals his face to be Governor Vizsla, who has been plotting against Satine and the Jedi. He gives Kenobi's lightsaber back to him, then brandishes his own Darksaber. They duel.
Darksaber! I know! There it is!
There it is! We see it! They duel, and Vizsla is defeated, which makes Obi-Wan the rightful ruler of Mandalore. They duel, and Vizsla's defeated.
It's like the Elder Wand.
It is. It really is. They journey back to Sundari, where Obi-Wan tells Satine that he believes the Separatists are aiding Death Watch. But despite the evidence, Satine vows to stay out of the war. Anakin arrives to report for duty, and he and Obi-Wan join Satine aboard her starship. End of the first episode.
Yay!
We did it.
This is a fun episode.
It's so much fun.
I mean, yeah. So a couple more things that we were introduced to this episode. Pre Vizsla ends up being an important character for the rest of the Clone Wars, and also is voiced by Jon Favreau.
Yeah!
Which is very cool. And then of course, Jon Favreau would later go on to be the showrunner for The Mandalorian, and then also play the voice of Paz Vizsla in the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
who's a descendant of Pre Vizsla, I believe.
Yep.
So or at least they're part of the same clan. I don't know if he's a descendant.
Yeah, they're definitely both in House Vizsla.
Yes, that's the last name.
Yeah, because Mandalorians are very like big into like clans and houses and like the like very, lineage kind of stuff.
Family.
Yeah.
Family. When you're here, you're family.
Olive Garden. Unlimited breadsticks.
Unlimited breadsticks. Our new podcast.
Yeah. All right. So this is a great episode. Great kind of introduction to Mandalore, to Death Watch, which the community of Mandalorians that Din Djarin is found by is kind of descendants of Death Watch. They're called the Children of the Watch, meaning Children of Death Watch. So there's that. Indeed. All right.
So, yeah.
Should we just move on to the next episode?
Yeah.
Unless you have any other.
Yeah. Let's see. Darksaber, super cool. Satine. We don't get a whole lot of like. I feel like in the next episode and the episode after, we get more kind of interaction between Obi-Wan and Satine. We learn more about kind of what their backstory is.
Yeah.
But it's in this episode we kind of get the sense that obviously they know each other somehow and that they have a history.
Yep.
And we don't learn about what that is specifically until the next episodes. But lots of, I think, really fun action in this episode.
Oh yeah.
The fights with the Mandalorians and like there's a moment when Pre Vizsla like jetpacks up into the air with the Darksaber like held above his head and is about to slash down Obi-Wan, and then Obi-Wan like force jumps up to him and kicks him in the head, and like it's just
the combat in this episode is some of the best.
Yes.
Also, there's just like a lot of parallels, I think, to Star Wars Episode 2 in this, just kind of with like the mine scene and like they kind of like all like the compactor things that is about to like squish him.
Yes,
it's very
stuck on a conveyor belt.
Yeah, and it's kind of like two star-crossed lovers, a Jedi and a politician, both kind of running through a defunct factory, being chased by baddies, trying to find some Mandalorian who they don't know who it is, but they're trying to figure out who it is.
It's true. Yeah, there's a lot of Attack of the Clones. There's no bugs in this one.
Nah.
But there's robot bugs in the next one, though.
There's robo-bugs. So. Oh, yeah. Jack.
Robo-assassin bugs.
Jack, you want
to
read our stuff for this next episode?
Yes. Oh, there was one moment that in this episode where, like, it just a cool moment where, like, Obi-Wan doesn't have his lightsaber at the moment, and there's, some Mandalorians, like, coming after him to kill him, he like picks up a blaster and like shoots one of them, and then grabs that jetpack.
So uncivilized.
Yeah, so uncivilized. He picks up a jetpack, throws it towards the other two Mandalorians, and shoots it, and it explodes. And he uses it as like a bomb, basically.
Love it.
Which is super cool.
Love it.
Yeah, amazing. All right, yeah. Next episode, Voyage of Temptation. The moral for this episode is: fear not for the future, weep not for the past. Which I don't really get this moral, personally. Like, you're allowed to fear for the future and also weep for the past.
No, you're not.
Those are good things to do.
No,
but whatever.
Don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
All right. Episode 13, Voyage of Temptation. An unpredictable events. A royal welcome. Sent to investigate allegations that Mandalore was joining Count Dooku's separatists. Obi-Wan Kenobi was reunited with an old friend, the Duchess Satine of Kalevala. While Satine claimed Mandalore's intentions were to remain neutral during the war, an attack on the capital city led Obi-Wan to the discovery of a terrorist organization known as Death Watch. Now, the Duchess travels to the Senate so she can plead her case against her involvement in the war as the Jedi prepare a defense against her opponents.
Kalevala.
Right, here we go.
Kalevala.
Indeed.
It's fun.
Kalevala. Yep. All right. Aboard the new Mandalorian vessel Coronet, Obi-Wan and Anakin brief clone troopers on the situation. The clones in the astromech droid R2-D2 are told that the safety of the Duchess Satine Kryze is of the utmost importance. They are also told to search for any suspicious activity aboard the ship that may point to Death Watch or the separatists. Obi-Wan and Anakin are summoned to meet with the Duchess, and Anakin discerns from Obi-Wan's tenseness that he and Satine were once close. Upon arrival, Obi-Wan and Satine discuss the nature of the war. Satine stubbornly wishes to remain neutral despite potential separatist involvement, but Obi-Wan warns her that may not be an option. As the Coronet jumps into hyperspace, the clones Red-Eye and Mixer are attacked by an assassin probe. Rex contacts Obi-Wan when he is unable to find the two clones, and Anakin goes to help them in their search. They discover a cargo crate that is mysteriously open and the contents missing. Anakin updates Obi-Wan, who is dining with Satine and numerous senators. Anakin and the clones discover the assassin probe and destroy it, but another makes its way up a turbo lift towards the dining area. Obi-Wan destroys the second probe, and both parties are then attacked by numerous small SDK-4A mini assassin droids, which were being stored in the larger ones. The probe killers are destroyed in the following battle, and Anakin later learns from a protocol droid that the box containing the droids was ordered on board by one of the 4 senators now aboard the ship. Obi-Wan discovers one assassin droid left alive and decides to perform an experiment. Holding the droid in a dinner plate, he presents it to each of the 4 senators one at a time. The droid attempts to attack Senators Orn Frita, Anakan Dafar, and Orn Frita. Yeah, get out of here, Orn Frita. Anakan Dafar and Kin Rob, but remains calm when near Tal Merrick, the senator from Kalevala, exposing him as the traitor. Merrick takes Satine hostage and escapes the room. As Anakin and the clones finish destroying all the assassin droids, Merrick makes his way to the cockpit, where he murders the crew. He pulls the ship out of hyperspace and contacts Pre Vizsla, who sends 3 boarding ships filled with B-2 series super battle droids to reinforce Merrick on the Coronet. As Anakin, Rex, Cody, the clones, and Satine's royal guard hold off the droids, Obi-Wan attempts to arrest Merrick. However, Merrick has rigged the engines of the ship with explosives and warns Obi-Wan to stay back, or he will detonate the explosives. Satine begs Obi-Wan to stand his ground, and the Jedi follows him at a distance as Merrick drags Satine towards one of the boarding ships. Satine finally confesses to Obi-Wan that she loves him. Obi-Wan admits that he would have left the Jedi Order for her, to which Merrick responds with disgust. Satine manages to escape Merrick's grasp and steal his blaster. Merrick begins to taunt Satine and the Jedi, sneering that neither one of them are brave enough to kill him. If Satine kills him, she will betray her pacifist views, while if Kenobi kills him, he will lose Satine's respect. Obi-Wan and Satine both hesitate, but before they can act, Anakin runs Merrick through with his lightsaber from behind, killing him. Anakin shows up.
Anakin for MVP. Anakin for MVP.
Yeah, he just ignites his lightsaber through him from behind, and Obi-Wan's like, Anakin, and Anakin's like, what? He was gonna blow up the ship.
But also Darth Vader's theme plays, so there's that.
Yes. Also, it's like, he's callous about this whole. Yeah, they're all like, the 3 of them are like, debating like the morality of this situation, and like, oh, this is a moral dilemma here. What do we do? How do we, save people without betraying our ideals? And then Anakin's like, what ideals?
Yeah. Ideals, schmideals. Psst, got him.
Anakin is like the best source of comedy from these episodes, because he's just like, he does this moment, and he also has several moments where he just like sasses Obi-Wan. He's like, so you and Satine, huh?
So what's going on there?
He's a girl. Okay. The Coronet finally arrives on Coruscant, where Palpatine congratulates the Jedi on their work. Satine approaches Obi-Wan and casually flirts with him, remarking with skepticism on his beard, which she says hides too much of his handsome face. And Anakin and Obi-Wan admire Satine as she boards a speeder and departs. End of episode 2 of the arc. Yay!
This is definitely the best episode of the arc, for sure.
Yeah. I think, the 3rd episode definitely has more like, I think the 3rd episode is interesting from like a plot perspective and kind of a political intrigue perspective, but this is definitely the most like, it's a bottle episode because it's all contained on one ship, and there's a mystery to it, and there's romance and revelations about people's past and stuff. Yeah, it's cool. It's super fun. We get kind of a bit of like a horror vibe with the assassin probe droids.
One of my favorite parts in this episode was I think it's Rex is looking for like the clones who like weren't reporting back in, and he sees one of them, like what he thinks is walking towards him, but it's one of the assassin droids like puppeting a dead clone towards him to make it look like he was walking, creepy. And then throws the clone's dead body at Rex. So as to kind of like get away,
which is such a cool visual, and also just super creepy.
Very,
and excellent moment. Yeah. We definitely get more like interaction between Obi-Wan and Satine in this episode, and kind of we learn a little bit more about like their past relationship and how like I think we don't learn until the next episode the specifics of like Obi-Wan explains like we're on a mission together for a year or something. But in this episode we at least learned that like there was like a romance between them basically, and I think the moment where Obi-Wan says he would have left the Jedi Order for her had she said the word.
Yeah.
Like, it's a really cool moment where we learn something about Obi-Wan's character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the fact that, like, Obi-Wan has struggled with some of the same things that Anakin has. He just, chose to stick with the ways of the Order.
Right.
But yeah, and it's just interesting to see that kind of, like, sort of the tragedy of that and the sadness of that, but, like, yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
There's a moment. One of my favorite lines from this arc is when Obi-Wan walks into the room with all the senators, and Satine says something like, "Senators, I'm sure you're all familiar with the the pile of half-truths and hyperbole that is Obi-Wan Kenobi." And I'm like, yes, amazing. Incredible. What a great line.
It is a fantastic line.
Yes. I love how much they sass each other. It's so good. And also just the whole, like, the way they solve the mystery of who's the senator is a really cool idea.
That was
have
really
one of the tiny little robo-bugs in a little plate.
Yeah.
Like, which one doesn't it fight? One other fun fact is the senator who is the culprit, Tal Merrick, he is voiced by Greg Proops.
Who's that?
He is of Whose Line Is It Anyway? And also he voiced one of the two heads of the pod race commentators in episode 1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Greg Proops is in this as Senator who Anakin murders in cold blood.
Love that.
Fun times.
Fun.
All right. Are we ready to move on to episode 3?
I think we are. The third episode in this arc, the third and final, is titled The Duchess of Mandalore. And the moral is, in war, truth is the first casualty.
I do actually like that moral. That's
good.
A good one.
That's
I like
nice.
that. Yeah.
A diplomatic mission! As dissent threatens to tear apart the peaceful Mandalore system, Duchess Satine struggles to protect her people against the escalating violence. Betrayed by 2 of her trusted allies, Satine now travels to Coruscant. There, she hopes to convince the Senate that a destructive splinter group, Death Watch, does not represent the entire Mandalorian government.
There's some, like, interesting parallel. We talked some about, like, how the first episode had a lot of parallels to episode 2, to Attack of the Clones. This one has some very, like, I feel like A New Hope parallels with, like, the crawl or the spiel at the beginning starts with a diplomatic mission, which is Leia says she's on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan, and that's like only one of a couple parallels to Leia, because like later on, when Satine is kind of on the run and she she's in like a robe and she calls Obi-Wan on a hologram and she says, Obi-Wan, I need your help, which, is she's basically doing you're my only hope kind of thing. Yeah. It felt very, very similar there, and definitely an echo of that.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's get after it. All right, so Count Dooku, aboard a Munificent-class star frigate, discusses the final plans via hologram with Death Watch leader Pre Vizsla regarding Death Watch's plan to take over the neutral, peace-loving world of Mandalore. He is on Concordia at the Death Watch hideout, and his men are assembling themselves to prepare for the planetary invasion. Dooku instructs Vizsla to send a Death Watch assassin to Coruscant to kill the Duchess Satine Kryze. A new Mandalorian scout is hiding in the hills, spying on the operation down below with a pair of electro-binoculars, and hurries back to report his findings to Almec in Sundari. He reports to have found the Death Watch army, which is preparing for battle. He claims Death Watch will never have the strength required to conquer Mandalore without the people's support. This Almec states that if Mandalore is under Republic occupation, it will turn the Death Watch from terrorists to liberators in the eyes of the people. The scout asks how to keep Republic forces off-world, to which the Prime Minister claims that the fate rests with Satine. The Galactic Senate is in session in the Galactic Senate Chamber. Supreme Chancellor Palpatine addresses rising concern about Death Watch, declaring it a significant, deadly threat. Satine intervenes, saying that Mandalore is putting great effort into finding the leaders of the group who are unable to gain control of the planet, and it will be achieved without the use of violence. She stresses further violence will ensue in the event of Republic military involvement with these affairs. To back his argument for occupation, Chancellor presents a hologram message of Deputy Minister Jarek. Jarek states that a civil war is amidst the Mandalorians. Satine is shocked by his words, as he was a close friend of hers. Knowing something is not right with the recording she just witnessed, she requests to see Jarek at once, only to learn that he was killed in a Death Watch bombing on Kalevala that morning. Kalevala. Palpatine states this as an even greater reason to defend Mandalore, yet Satine refutes the idea of Republic occupation, fearing it will bring the war to them. Announcing the vote will take place the next session, he dismisses the Senate. As the Duchess exits the building, Obi-Wan Kenobi hurries to catch up with her to express his concern for her well-being. Just quick little side note, in this scene where Obi-Wan is like talking with senators and like sees Satine and runs to catch her, did you notice who he was talking to?
No, I didn't.
Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma's in the background.
Oh, right. I do remember seeing Mon Mothma,
So, Obi-Wan was talking to Mon Mothma in the background.
That's cool.
That was cool. Anyway. Alright. So he... Mon Mothma. Alright. He says he shouldn't be making any decisions while in hysteria, as he believes anyone would be after what she has been through. She exclaims more people should be hysterical, so they stand up when the Republic intrudes on their rights. After the two bicker some more, her ride arrives, and she and her guard depart. While mid-flight, a Death Watch assassin triggers an explosive hidden aboard the vehicle, causing her pilot to lose control. Satine and her guards manage to jump onto a nearby landing platform, only to see the pilot and speeder smash into a building only moments later in a fiery explosion. At night, in Palpatine's office, Satine attempts to convince Palpatine that the malfunction was not an accident, but her speeder had been tampered with. He dismisses it as simply an accident, despite the fact that it occurred the same day she openly defended her planet. Mas Amida agrees with Satine, but only to further justify the need to handle Death Watch, whereas her government couldn't. Upon exiting the office, Obi-Wan approaches her to inquire about the recent accident. She expresses disgust with the political structure of the Republic, the Chancellor, and Mas Amida in particular, but tells her Jedi friend that she is alright. In the middle of the discussion, Senator Padme Amidala informed them that the Senate, eager to vote after hearing the news of Satine's assassination attempt, has just voted in favor of Mandalore's occupation, and that ships are planned to leave at sunrise. In Sector GL5 of the Coruscant underworld, Satine, now in a red hooded cloak to conceal her identity, meets with Davu Golek, a fellow Mandalorian and her contact, who obtained important information from the Republic Ministry of Intelligence. He hands her a card with the full recording of Jarek's message, telling her that the one shown to the Senate earlier was botched. A Death Watch assassin who had been following Golek, the same one responsible for his speeder crash, snipes him clear in the chest, killing him. The Duchess quickly pulls out her deactivator in defense, only to be mistook for a blaster by police probes who assume she shot Golek and mark her as a criminal. Lucky for Satine, had the probe not intervened, the assassin would have had a clear shot at her too. She flees from a pair of police droids and the probe, who are soon joined by two Coruscant guards. This whole time, she is still being pursued by an assassin. After some time, she pulls out her deactivator and fires it at the probe, causing it to crash to the ground, and the other law enforcement officers trip over it, taking out both droids. She uses this opportunity to melt away into the crowd. Not long after, she manages to make them lose her trail.
I love Satine's tiny little gun.
It's very cute. It kind of looks like the gun in like the first Men in Black movie. It's like
the tiny one.
Yeah, the tiny one. It looks just like it. It's just like a little thing, little pipsqueak of a gun.
Yeah. It reminds me of like those little like noisemaker guns you can get from dollar store. Like, she pulls out this that they call it a deactivator, which it looks like it's basically just it shoots like little bolts of electricity to like, basically deactivate droids.
Yeah, it's like an EMP gun kind of thing.
Yeah, which is super cool. Like because there's a moment when she pulls that out in the previous episode to like attack some of the little droids, little like probe droid assassin things. And everyone's like, do you always carry a deactivator with you? And she's like, I may be a pacifist, but I'm not above defending myself, basically. Yeah. And it was like, I still have a tiny little gun with me.
Yeah.
It's my adorable little gun.
It doesn't kill anything, but it does like stop things from killing me.
Yes, which is good.
It's good.
It's good.
That's good.
Yeah, it's like carrying around a taser with you.
It really is.
You know?
Yeah, but for droids. It's a droid taser.
Yeah, a droid pepper spray.
Yep. Alright, at the Death Watch hideout on Concordia, the assassin informs Pre-Vizsla that he has killed a contact of Satine's and has witnessed a handoff between the two, but the ruler of Mandalore still lives. An angered Vizsla demands her to be found. Aboard a Munificent-class star frigate, Dooku informs his master that Death Watch is ready to fight off the public forces when they arrive, and the Splinter Group will be viewed as saviors by the people. Darth Sidious expresses concern about possible interference by the Duchess Satine, but is assured by Dooku that a Death Watch assassin will take care of her. Hiding in the alleys of Coruscant, Satine contacts Obi-Wan via comlink. The two meet up. She hands the card with the original recording to the Jedi Master. They depart together, but are followed by the assassin. In an alleyway, the assassin tosses a thermal detonator at them, but Obi-Wan notices in time to push Satine out of the way and jumps to his own safety. The determined Death Watch assassin jumps down to finish Satine, but Obi-Wan starts to fight him. Finally, Obi-Wan manages to use the Force to toss the assassin over the edge of a walkway, but the attacker activates his jetpack in time before smashing into the ground and makes an escape. At the Galactic Senate building, Satine approaches the Senate commandos guarding the entrance to turn herself in to buy time for Kenobi to walk in unnoticed. As Chancellor Palpatine is scanning the Great Convocation Chamber for any objections to Mandalore's occupation, Senator Amidala speaks up, displaying the full recording that Satine had handed to Kenobi, who is present in her repulsor pod, and in turn to the senator. Palpatine quickly grimaces as he watches the recording, then returns his expression to a smile. The recording explains that the Mandalorian government has been preparing for any possible confrontation with Death Watch, and the reason they cannot ask for Republic support with the situation being so fragile.
I want to quickly mention that, like, earlier when Obi-Wan and Satine were meeting up in, like, a kind of an open courtyard-looking area, that was the place with the one part.
Yeah!
The place with the rock. With, the one bit of Coruscant's planet that you can actually see.
Monument Plaza? Is that what it's called? I think that's it.
I don't remember. Yeah. But yeah, that's... And then we go back there in The Mandalorian.
I think that was the first time, like, canonically, it is seen, like, in any, like...
Yeah, I think so.
Star Wars, like, TV or film. Because I did...
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that anything before that. Yeah.
No, yeah, because I also, like... I didn't know what it was until, like... I want to say we were watching... Either watching Mandalorian... Or no, maybe it was Andor. It was an Andor.
It was Andor.
I think Andor was the first time I ever saw it.
Maybe.
But I also think I maybe read a book. Like, it was maybe one of the books I read. But I just didn't realize that it had been in this episode, which was released in, 2010? Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, so I guess this would have been the first appearance of it, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's cool.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, so at the Death Watch base, a siren is blaring and a voice repeatedly orders all troops to stand down. Infuriated, Pre-Vizsla complains to Dooku that his promise of Death Watch's rise to power on Mandalore failed. He opts to invade the planet alone, only for Dooku to state that he'd only be able to hold Mandalore for a day if he proceeded without the backing from either the planet or the Separatists. He dismisses the matter, stating the Separatists can achieve its goals by other means. Vizsla continues to stare angrily at Dooku through the hologram. Back in the Chancellor's office, Palpatine thanks Padme for the new information that eliminates the current need for Mandalore's occupation. She gives all the credit to Satine, who enters at that moment. She is informed by the senator from Naboo that the Senate held an emergency session and voted to revoke the previously agreed-upon occupation of Mandalore. Palpatine apologizes to her for the recent series of events and praises her for her loyalty to the Republic. Padme asks for the Chancellor and Vice Chair Masamita to join her in carrying out the Senate's recent decision. Satine holds Obi-Wan behind to thank him for his assistance, but expresses her remaining confusion regarding the recent events. The Jedi lacks an answer, but assures her that, as she said to him before, things are changing. End of the arc.
Yay! I don't think it was mentioned in the summary anywhere, but there's a moment in either this episode or the one before when Anakin asks, like, so what's your deal with Satine? Like, you know, what's your history there? And he says that basically back when Qui-Gon was still alive, he and Qui-Gon were were stationed on Mandalore for a year, and they were guarding Satine basically, and they like. You're acting like you didn't see this in the episode.
No, I don't remember that part of the.
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, that's what they say is like he they spent a year together basically on the run together, and that's kind of where they fell in love. So that's a cool little insight there. Yeah. Anyway, it just felt like an important moment to mention.
Oh yeah,
that I don't think the summary did.
No,
unless I just
it did not.
Yeah.
That's another interesting parallel to Anakin and Padme, just because like Anakin was assigned to Padme to guard her, and that's like when all the chemistry happened and all that. So another parallel.
Indeed. There's another funny moment with Anakin where he's like, it might have been in the previous episode where like Anakin's like, we'll go take care of the assassin droids. You go save your girlfriend. And Obi-Wan's like, yeah, wait, she's not my... Oh. Yeah.
Got him. Got him.
All right. It was a fun arc.
It was a lot of fun.
Sam, what was your favorite part of this arc?
Obi-Wan and Satine. Just like all of their interactions, all of their like the tension, the chemistry, the backstory, the excitement, Obi-Wan has a girlfriend, all that stuff. I loved it. Yeah.
The summary doesn't do a great job of like including those aspects of these episodes, right. But yeah, that's a major through line of it is the relationship between these two and the fact that they're both very like strong-willed, passionate people who clearly really care for each other, but like, you know, are angry at each other for, you know, for various reasons.
Yeah.
For, they Obi-Wan left her, and they have obviously different ways of looking at the world now. You know, especially in terms of war and you know what is justified. But yeah, it is a great like. It's always great to see, you know, Obi-Wan being a smooth, sly, fun guy.
Yeah,
and we get to see that a lot in these episodes, and we get to see it in his interactions with Satine, and just like, yeah, I would love to I think I mentioned this before, but I would love to see some of that story of the two of them and kind of how they first met and what that relationship was like.
Yeah,
in some form, like whether a Tales of the Jedi or a comic or something.
Yeah. I know that I'm wondering because there is an Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon book, like a novel, that kind of like deals with Obi-Wan's training by Qui-Gon, like shortly before episode 1. And I'm wondering if, because I never finished the book, I kind of started it and then didn't finish it, but I'm
Master and Apprentice.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if any of this is covered in that. I'm gonna go look that up here in a second.
Yeah, maybe.
But, I would very much love to know that.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of the arc is, I mean, like, I kind of agree that I think just Obi-Wan and Satine and that relationship and the revelation of that, and like, yeah, that's probably my favorite part. But just to say something else, I think the introduction of the Mandalorians in general and getting to see, like, you know, we get to, you know, we're exposed to this culture really for the first time, in a real way. Like, because before this, the only exposure we've really had to Mandalorians has been Jango Fett, essentially.
Yeah.
And so getting to see Mandalore getting to see, you know, the planet itself, getting to see the culture, and getting to see especially, you know, like the Death Watch guys and the combat with Obi-Wan, and get to see the Darksaber for the first time. Just, you know, just all the cool Mandalorian stuff happening in these episodes. Definitely very exciting. And it's also just interesting to see, like in hindsight, going back to this episode and this arc after having watched The Mandalorian and knowing how important these things end up being later, and how, like, you know, this establishes so much of what, you know, the groundwork is for that show. So yeah.
Yes.
MVP. Which character deserves recognition for being particularly awesome this episode, Sam? Who's our MVP?
It's gotta be Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah,
or Satine.
Or
Satine.
Yeah, it's a toss up between them two. I kind of think Satine, because,
yeah,
I don't know, like she in some ways puts her life on the line more than he does, because I mean she's inherently more in danger because she can't defend herself as much. But she's like, I don't know, it's kind of inspiring to see her altruism and her determination to, like, protect her people and, you know, stand by her ideals, even if she is a bit stubborn and maybe unpractical at times, it's still like, I mean, especially in that third episode where you see, she spends most of that episode on the run and, putting her life on the line and her reputation on the line in order to do what she believes is right. Like, I could give it either of them.
No, but as soon as I said Obi-Wan, I was like, no, it's I think it's Satine. Like, as soon as I started, like, I think, like, Obi-Wan is definitely, like, a close runner-up, but I think Satine.
And then Anakin's third place for being sassy and killing that guy.
Yeah! Anakin is MVP of that scene.
Indeed. All right, main character kills. Let's see.
Anakin kills one.
Anakin kills that one guy. Yeah, Anakin kills that one guy. Does Obi-Wan kill? Obi-Wan probably kills, like, multiple Mandalorians, right? Like, he kills at least those 3 Mandalorians in that one scene.
He might have, but I don't know. Did he?
Yeah. Definitively, we can say Anakin killed one guy.
Yes. Because I couldn't tell if they were, like, knocked out.
He's knocked out. That's the tough thing with, like, unless somebody gets, like, impaled or has their head cut off or something, and there's no, like, or, it's not necessarily like for sure that they died. So we have at least one absolutely confirmed kill.
Yeah.
Here.
From Darth Vader himself.
Yeah. But even then, it's like Maul survived being bisected, so it's like anything could happen. But for the purposes of this, we can assume that they're probably. I don't think that Tal, what's his face or whatever his name is, would have the sheer force of will to stay alive after being stabbed in the chest.
No, he didn't. He didn't survive from just pure rage in the dark side of the Force.
Yeah. No.
Nope.
He's just a sassy boy.
He is a sassy boy.
Yeah. All right. Lost limbs, none.
Correct.
Wilhelm screams, none, as I recall. More Star Wars is better Star Wars. How does this episode make the movies and the rest of Star Wars better?
Mandalore.
We have kind of covered.
Yeah.
Mandalore.
Yeah.
The answer is Mandalore and Satine, basically, which is part of Mandalore.
Indeed.
We kind of covered all that, but the Darksaber, basically everything having to do with Mandalore and the culture and the history of that and the politics and and then of course getting some more insight into Obi-Wan and his kind of past and learn a little bit more about kind of the complexities of him as a character that we don't necessarily see as much. We tend to think of Obi-Wan as being like, the one who mostly follows the rules, and he's like kind of sassy and fun, but like he's just sort of a Jedi who does what he's supposed to and does what he's told for the most part. And so getting to hear about this part of him, this time in his life when he, considered not doing that, when he considered like outright leaving the Order, gives us some more insight into like, Obi-Wan has his own struggles, and so that's important. And then one other thing I wanted to say. The fact that I think like the first episode in particular is like surprisingly dark in some ways. Like it's like there's a bombing in a public square, and then a guy who like commits suicide by jumping off a building,
and you like, hear it like it's like
you hear it go it's it's like one of those moments where it's like, oh right, this is a kid's show.
Yeah, for kids.
I guess.
Yeah.
It's for kids. Yeah, and then later Anakin stabs that guy through the chest from behind, and he's like, what?
Yeah. I just did a murder. It's fine.
He was going to do all the murders, though, so it's,
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame him. I think he was honestly in the right in that moment, but, like...
Yeah. I did not see another option.
Yeah, unless there was, like, I don't know, if Anakin could have just, like, grabbed him from behind or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
yeah, just like force or like lightsabered off his hand or something. We got a lost limb instead of a murder. But no.
That's true. Anakin's like, nah, it's cleaner this way. It's easier. Anyway.
Yeah. He's too dangerous to be left alive.
He's too dangerous. He must stand trial. Oh yeah, Palpatine must stand trial, but not this guy? Alright. Whatever. Okay, well, that was our main segment today.
That was cool. Star Wars. We did it.
That was a quality Star Wars we had today.
We did it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, before we are done today, I want to show you something. The audience can't see it, obviously, but
It's. I'm waiting for him to put his headphones back on. It's
okay. I'm back.
It's the ghost.
It's the Legos.
Yes, the Legos.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
You made the ghost out of Legos. You did it.
Yes. Like I said, I got this for Christmas from my parents, and I'm very happy. This kind of completes the there were 3 Lego sets of Star Wars things that I really wanted. It was this, it was BD1, and it was the Rex helmet, and I've got all those now, and so I'm very happy. It's super cool. The Phantom 2 comes off. It's its own little ship. You could open up the front of the Phantom 2. Hold on, I'm just trying to do this one-handed because I'm holding the ship in the other hand.
Just drop it, fine.
And you can see there's a little Jason Syndulla is in there. Little baby Jason is
our little Jedi boy.
Indeed. There's a thing in the front, like a little cannon that actually shoots stuff. Like pew. Yeah. You can open up the front here, and there's a little New Republic guy in there. You can take off this whole top bit, and then look inside the place, and there's Chopper.
That's my favorite war criminal.
There's Chopper in there. There he is, my favorite little robot war criminal. And then Hera is also
there. She
here.
is nice,
and yeah, it's a super cool, beautiful. Oh, and also in the where's the? Oh right, there's this Mon Calamari guy in the gunner pit. In the
nice,
top
random. I like it.
There is, yeah. But yeah, it's beautiful, and the Ghost is probably my favorite Star Wars ship, and I'm very glad to have this finally. And it's great. It was a fun build, and it looks really nice, and love it.
I love it.
Anyway, thanks, Mom, Dad. It's beautiful,
yes,
and wonderful.
Speaking of just dream Lego sets, Star Wars Lego sets.
Yeah.
My dream Star Wars Lego set is the Clone Wars era Star Destroyer, like the big old clone transport thing. Mm-hmm. It's like $600 and 5 feet long.
Yeah, There's always I feel like every I've never been super into the idea of the huge sets, just because it's it's cool, but it's I don't like Legos enough to want to ever spend that much money on one.
Oh,
but
sure.
Yeah. But I've definitely always been fascinated by the super huge, super detailed Millennium Falcon or the Death Star, or kind of the really big ones. Yeah. And that'd be cool.
Yeah, because I just want to have one of those giant ones and then just build a coffee table around it. There's just a glass top to it.
I've seen people do that. Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That'll be
the
coffee
Republic
table
cruiser.
Yeah. That'll be the coffee table in my man cave will be that.
Excellent.
Yes. But yeah, I love that. Legos are super fun. Big fan. Oh, I don't know if I sent you a picture of it, but this thing.
Oh yeah. Yay! Yes. Wait, do we want to briefly talk about what some things we got for Christmas, if you want, because that's relevant.
We could. Yeah.
Yeah. So quick bonus segment at the end. We're going to talk about what we got for Christmas. So I got the Ghost from Mom and Dad. That was great. We just talked about that. Sam is holding up a thing that I got for him. Sam, what is it?
It is a fun little canvas banner, but it has the portal to the world between worlds from Rebels, just kind of surrounded by Loth wolves, and it's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yes, I thought it was cool.
And then I got another thing that I want. Yeah. Hold on.
He's doing a thing. Oh yeah, right. Oh my god.
Yeah, one of them doesn't turn on.
Sam has 2 lightsabers that go together.
Yeah.
To become one lightsaber.
I don't know if you can hear it.
It's very glowy and cool. Is it supposed to be? Is it Maul's lightsaber?
It's kind of supposed to be knockoff Maul's lightsaber. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
But it looks nice.
It does.
I mean, even if it's not a name brand Star Wars thing, technically, it has the nice really solid glowy blade.
Right. It's solid enough to kind of gently duel with. I wouldn't go full on smacking people with this thing. But
you wouldn't Battle of the Heroes.
Right.
With
right.
that.
But it has a nice metal handle, and it's really
really
fun. Yeah, I need to figure out the second one doesn't turn. They stopped turning on, so I need to figure out what's going on with that. But
interesting.
But one of them still works, and
that's cool. You said, it changes colors too. Yeah, I was gonna.
It defaults to red. Like red's just the first one, but you can just kind of cycle through colors.
Green, blue. Excellent.
We got
orange,
like good old Balin Skull and Shin Hati. There we go, and then we got like baby blue and Mace Windu.
It looks pink from my perspective.
Yeah,
and that's like ray yellow.
It is like ray yellow.
Kind of.
And here's like a faint purple. Here's white, like Zoga.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's straight up pink. And then there's like darker purple.
Like a magenta.
Yeah. And then this is white. One of them just kind of cycles through colors like a rainbow.
Interesting.
I don't know.
It's the RGB mode.
It is.
It's the gamer mode.
Gamer Saber. Yeah, so this one's white. I'm trying to find. Here we go. We got the Gamer Saber. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Here,
you said
for our,
Adam got that
audio only. Audio only format. You're just playing with a color changing lightsaber. Yes.
Does it make sounds? Does it have like?
It does make sounds. It does kind of have
pew pew sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it kind of just is like wom.
That's cool.
I think
does it go if you hit it?
It does.
Or
it does.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
But yeah, that's that. But yeah. My brother-in-law Adam got this for me for Crimbus. So I got that.
Amazing.
I got other fun things. Grace got me the Empire Strikes Back from a Certain Point of View short story collection.
Ooh,
you got me
nice.
a few years back the New Hope one, so now I have Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, the first one, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I've read half of. And then I just kind of pick it up every once in a while. Just like read a story and then set it down and forget I have it for a couple months, and then read another story, set it down and forget I have it. But it's a short story thing, so it's fine. That's what it's for them.
Yeah.
I got other fun things, but I don't remember. Mom and Dad got me my first pair of winter boots. Because it's cold. We're going to have blizzards, and I have boots now.
Boots? Winter boots?
Winter boots, yeah. I got other fun things, but those are like the big notable ones, I think.
Cool.
Off the top of my head.
Cool. That's like the kind of the other big like Star Wars related thing I want is a lightsaber. It's like I want just a nice like lightsaber that I can put on display and that also is nice and glowy and solid. And yeah. I saw a couple weeks ago. I found out they sell Kanan's lightsaber now.
Ooh.
Like an official like actual like the Black Series FX lightsaber that's Kanan's. I really want that. I want it real bad.
Nice. Yeah, I think I don't know which. I think I would probably want Obi-Wan's lightsaber. I think it's my favorite looking lightsaber.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. Yeah,
definitely. That would definitely be up there.
Yeah.
And then of course at some point I would love to go to Galaxy's Edge and make my own.
Yeah.
Lightsaber. That's definitely the dream.
We will. I think maybe that'll be our reward for like finishing all of Star Wars in chronological order. Is we go to Galaxy's Edge and make lightsabers.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
that'd be incredible. Yes,
but it'll never happen because it's unlimited. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I guess we're never going. Yeah. All right. Let's see. I got the Ghost. I got in terms of another Star Wars thing. Max got me on vinyl a vinyl record of like selected music from the original trilogy.
Nice.
So that's cool. Thank you, Max, for that. Gracie got me a little like it's like a light up like rubber duck basically. It's like it's an adorable little
Wonderful.
like
excellent good.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's I've got it on my bookshelf in my living room, but it's just like you press its beak and it glows real a nice soft light, and it's
I love
adorable. That. Yeah, and it's an inside like joke between Gracie and I basically because 90% of the way that we communicate these days is we send each other Instagram reels of ducks.
Nice.
So thank you, Gracie. It means a lot to me. I appreciate it.
Good.
Yeah, those are. I think those are the things that are most stood out.
You're right. I got a couple vinyls as well for Crimbus. Sarah got me Sufjan Stevens' Illinois, and then also Illinois. Come on, feel the Illinois. And she also got me 36 Chambers by the Wu-Tang Clan, which is always fun. And then a friend of mine in like a Secret Santa thing got me Creedence Clearwater Revival Greatest Hits, which is
nice.
It's great.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, love that. Thanks, Day.
That's excellent.
You the best. But yeah.
Rad. But yeah. Fun times. Yeah. As we're recording this, it is the 7th, so it is officially not Christmas anymore, not the Christmas season. So I will probably at some point this week take down my Christmas tree. But
yeah, we took down our Christmas tree in the dead of night while Marion was asleep because we didn't want to have birthday decorations and Christmas decorations all at the same time. So like the night before her birthday,
gotcha.
We took down all of their stuff. I think that's going to be a new thing because we don't want to have pink and Christmas all at the same time.
Just every color.
Yeah, just like a rainbow parked on our house.
Gamer.
Yeah, gamer house. Yeah, no, Sarah does not like the gamer house concept. No.
Yeah. Well, is that it for this week's episode? I don't think we have any voicemails.
We do not have any voicemails. That is it for this week's episode.
Well, cool. I'm glad that we this is a great arc to start the year with. Definitely,
just one of my favorites.
Excellent arc. Lots of exciting stuff. I'm looking forward to the rest of 2024 and continuing to do the podcast with you, and we'll keep up with each other's New Year's resolutions and talk about what we've been reading, what we've been. I'm excited to hear about your 75-day health nut thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that'll be cool. And then at some point soon, we don't have anything concrete actually in place yet, but we'll have guests this year. Like pretty soon we'll have Gracie on, I believe. And then we've got some other folks that we're definitely going to ask to have on, and it's going to be a good year. It's going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Happy New Year, everybody, and may the Force be with you all.
Yay.
Bye!
All right, cut the chatter. Roger, roger.